It's been more than a year since Pi Network officially got listed on the first exchanges, and with another Pi2Day behind us, it is time to look at what happened since then and where things might go from here. But as always, before we get started, let's get the usual disclaimer out of the way. Everything I share in this video is my personal opinion and in no way financial or professional advice of any kind. You should always do your own research, consult certified professionals, draw your own conclusions and make your own decisions. My name is Rauchenwald, and today we are going to take a look at Pi Network's progress since the official launch of the Pi coin on several exchanges that happened in early 2025. Let's start by taking a look at the one thing most of you really care about, and that's Pi's price development. As you can see on this screenshot from CoinMarketCap, Pi has been more or less consistently falling from around 50 cents per Pi after the initial volatility that happened after the launch, that had the price fluctuate between 70 cents and almost $3 per Pi coin to around less than 10 cents per Pi at the time of recording this video. Obviously, that's not how we imagined the chart of a long-term investment or life-changing crypto project should look like, but it's also relatively clear that until there are real use cases for Pi that create demand, many users simply sell whatever amount of Pi they get migrated and unlocked into their wallet as soon as they receive it. To be clear, it's your own choice what you do with your Pi coins, even if it's beyond me why people sell for any amount that doesn't really change their life. Again, it's everyone's own choice to hodl or to sell. I'm just saying that, in my opinion, it seems a little bit dumb to sell Pi coins if all you get in return is a few dollars that don't impact your life in any real way. After all, if you don't sell and it ends up being worthless, your life doesn't change for the worse. But if you sell and the price actually increases, you may miss out on what could have been life-changing money. Sure, as said, for that to happen, Pi Network needs use cases because price is more or less just the result of supply and demand. The supply increases with people receiving migrations into their wallets, and the demand isn't really there, so those that want to sell have to be willing to accept less and less money per Pi coin, while those that are buying Pi can accumulate more for less money. Well, and on that front we actually have some positive news. If you read the Pi2Day blog post that you can also find linked in the video description down below, you already know that Pi introduced two new important features. First, Pi sign-in. Just like many websites and services allow you to sign up and log in with, for example, your existing Google or Apple account, developers can now add Pi Network as a login method to their websites and services. This doesn't really create demand for Pi coins, but it helps spread awareness and increase brand recognition for the project. And more importantly, Pi Verify, a way for businesses to use Pi's own KYC solution in exchange for Pi. Maybe you recall that Pi initially used a third-party KYC solution, but due to the high cost decided to develop its own decentralized KYC system that has individual pioneers perform parts of the validation and receive a portion of the 1 Pi fee that's charged for each validation as compensation for that work. This is, in my opinion, the biggest development in quite some time, since it has the potential to create huge demand for Pi if or when the first companies choose Pi Verify over existing providers. After all, according to a short Google search, existing providers perform between 50,000 and more than 100,000 KYC verifications per day, and that's per provider, and charge between 33 cents and $3 per verification. This is obviously great news with a lot of potential, but there are a few things worth considering as well. First, if Pi Verify requires companies to pay in Pi coins, many businesses will stay away because they don't want to deal with crypto in their accounting and will rather pay another KYC provider more only to have less administrative effort. So just like other crypto projects, like for example Storage did in the past, Pi Network would have to offer a way that allows businesses to pay in fiat using their existing credit card, with a system in place that automatically uses those funds then to buy Pi coins on the open market in the background, if they want to have any real chance for Pi Verify to capture even a small part of the KYC verification market. Besides that, even if this increases the demand for Pi because businesses end up buying huge amounts of Pi either directly or indirectly, it also increases supplying quotes because a certain percentage of all pioneers that receive those Pi for performing the validations would then in turn just cash out those Pi. It's kinda like when people over the years say that if Amazon would accept Pi as payment method, the value would explode, without considering that, for example, people would have no reason to buy Pi coins to pay at Amazon if they can also just pay with fiat using their credit card, unless products would for whatever reason get a discount when you pay with Pi. And additionally, that Amazon and the vendors selling on Amazon wouldn't hodl Pi coins they receive, but would go ahead and sell most or all of those Pi coins almost instantly, not only to reduce their own risk, but also because they in turn need fiat to pay suppliers for the goods they sold and cover other operational expenses. Well, the same applies to Pi Verify. While it has huge potential, it hinges on the two things. As said, Pi needs to offer a way for businesses to sign up, add their credit card and just get billed in US dollar, euro or whichever other fiat currency the company uses, with the crypto part happening in the background. And additionally, there has to be a way to ensure that Pi bought and used for Pi Verify causes a net increase in demand over supply, maybe by burning 5 or 10% of all Pi coins that are paid for Pi Verify, or maybe in some other way. So, long story short, Pi Network is alive and kicking, and while the price has been declining steadily, and in my opinion will likely decline further until there are products, services and/or apps that create real demand, with Pi Verify we now have the first real-world business service being launched that has the potential to create real long-term demand for Pi coins and increase Pi's value up to a certain point. If businesses are charged 1 Pi per KYC verification, and we consider my earlier Google search that claims that KYC checks typically cost between 33 cents and $3, Pi Verify would have the potential to bring the value of Pi anywhere into that range, to a point where the cost of Pi Verify is either still cheaper or around the same cost that other KYC solutions are charging, so businesses have an economical incentive to choose it over other services. Anyways, that's my 2 cents as someone who has no intention of selling his Pi coins unless it's worth enough to have a life-changing impact. Now I would like to know your thoughts right after you like, subscribe and enable notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about Pi's future and especially Pi Verify and how it can or will impact Pi's price in the future. Thanks for watching, see you in one of my other videos. Till then, bye bye!